Hello again, my name is Kwame from Global Dime Consulting, and this is how we give back. We have been going over financing of a business, and we are in a series of videos talking about how to get your small business financed. If you haven't seen the previous videos, it's really key that you look at them and understand what the information we cover, because every video we do builds on the next video. But even though they build on each other, you can also watch them independently. Okay, so it's really good that you are here. What we are really looking to cover today is to dig into banking, small business banking. There's tons of businesses that, by working with small businesses, I've realized they don't have banking. They don't have a banking system to really get their business running, and that is very unfortunate, because the way the legal structure is set up in the US, not having a business bank can prevent you from getting a lot of benefits that comes with running a business. Plus, you need to understand that the only way to be successful in a business is to have a way to track, okay, your performance and everything, and banking is a key component of that. Without a good business bank and a good business account in a bank, sometimes it's hard. A lot of small businesses that I've encountered, one of the worst mistakes they make is that they mix their expenses, their personal expenses and their personal purchases and everything with their business expenses. That's a really dangerous place to be. You gotta have two separate accounts if you're running a small business. One for your business, which should be a business account, and one for yourself. Okay. In all honesty, in Michigan, Global Dime is located in Michigan, right? Within Michigan, all that it will cost you is about $50 to have a business running, and if you pay an extra 50, you can have your business registered in a day. It costs $50 to get your business registered, and that takes a few days, maybe a day or two, to get your license, your articles of organization. If you want it expedited and want to get it same day, it's possible, and it probably cost you only $100, and you can get your articles of organization same day. What you need to open a business account is your articles of organization, and then you also need your IRS registration, which is the tax EIN. Okay, it's the employer identification number, and those two things help you open a bank account. If you are a small business and you don't even want to get an article of organization, in a lot of cities, at least within Michigan, you can get assumed name for only $10, and that assumed name will help you incorporate yourself as a business. So for example, if I have a lawnmower running services, and I just have machines that I go to cut people's lawns, I don't want to go through, I just want to do it as a personal service for my own self as a business, but I don't really want to build it like an organization. You can go get an assumed name with your name, and then you can call it, let's say, Brother Fred Lawnmower Services with the city, and that is like $10. And when you do it, or the county, depending on where you are and what is available, you can go online and Google this, depending on the county you are, and find out how you can get it registered. But with that assumed name, you can go and get a bank account to open that for your business. So like I said, it's very easy to get your business legalized, okay, so that you can also have the tax benefits of having a business, because there can be benefits to having a business that can help you with your taxes. So but you should be very it should be important to you to have a banking system, or that can help you separate your business accounts from your personal account. Now, with that being said, how do you choose a bank? what are the things to look into when you want to get a bank, uh, select a bank for your small business. Okay, you always have to understand that you need to know the nature of your business first before you think about what kind of banking you need. Okay, if you are running a small business that receives payments from all over the country, maybe it's an online business and you make your clients pay you from everywhere all over the country, so you need a bank that is everywhere. You have to consider some of the big banks, okay, like Chase, Bank of America, those that are all over the country, so you can receive payment wherever they are or wherever your customers are found. But if you run a local business and then you'll feel like you are not going to go too far out of where you are, then you can also look at some of the local banks and then think about, so the nature of your business should be the most important thing before you select a bank. You have to understand the nature of your business and how the financial transactions are going to come in and out of your business before you select a bank. If you are selecting a bank and you know that in the future you will need some form of business loan and business credit, you have to be very careful that you select a bank that has great business relationship managers or business relationship experts, because one of the things, we've gone through a lot of business loans for some of the clients that we have. I can honestly say that one of the most powerful things about having a great bank is if that bank is connected to the community and they like to personally work with businesses. It's so disheartening sometimes when you take time to put together a good application, okay, a very solid application for a loan, and you present it, but maybe the bank is not a local bank, it's not a bank that has a lot of local decision makers. So then they send it to some underwriter or some places somewhere that they have no knowledge of who you are. They are not a part of the community. They are probably in another state, and then they are the ones. And then they keep, it's like a communication. They will tell this person bring this, and then you keep sending the documentation, and there's a back and forth. And honestly, it doesn't help. A lot of those experiences we've had even here at Global Diamond with our clients, they get refused. There are very few cases where you get approved when you go through those systems, because the people, it's like they don't see the business, they don't see the person behind the business, they only see numbers. It's really important to understand that you need a bank that sees the person behind the business, that sees you, that values you. They don't just see you as a number, they understand and value who you are as a person, and so they are willing to help you. In fact, one of the interesting experiences when we went through the PPP application that the government brought about, I can tell you all all the small businesses that we consult with that received the grant or received the loan were the small businesses that were banking with banks that had a good relationship with the businesses. And some of the banks, when they didn't even service the loan at a local branch, you have to call a 1-800 number, and those were really on. And then you have to go to their website and go to 1-800 number, and that is the only way to really get and engage. That was troubling. Okay, you want a bank that you can walk in there, talk to somebody, let them walk you through the system. You want a bank that sometimes the loan decisions is made on the local front, so you can have a very good understanding of what they need from you and what they require, and be able to provide that. Those are helpful when you run a business, having a bank that connects with you. Okay, so you want a bank that's community based, local. If you're a local business, I can't stress that enough. You want to check if you're going to require for a loan, make sure that the bank does SBA lending. Not all banks do SBA lending, so you need to find out, does your bank do SBA lending? If even better, you want to ask, what kind of SBA lending do they do? Let them explain to you, how do they support small businesses? That is really important, because every bank is built and they have different purposes. Some banks don't do business loan, they only do mortgages, and it's a fully functional bank. Some banks don't do mortgages, So every bank has a way they work with. Some banks love working with real estate businesses. Some banks love working with small businesses that are in the service areas. So you need to ask all these questions. And so that's why I said in the beginning, the most important thing to know before you choose a bank is the nature of the business you run. Okay, and then you also want to understand the cost of banking. The cost of banking, some banks do charge money to run your accounts through them, and that can be sometimes quite high amount of money. It depends on how much your business makes. Now there's tons of free accounts you can have, an online account. And some of these online accounts now that I have, through my research, I've realized that they give really good savings rate. So if you are a business that is going to have a checking account and a savings account, you really want to look into the online account, because some of them are really looking to be good in terms of the benefits you get from the banking system. And all of these online accounts are FDIC insured. That simply means that they have been insured by the federal government, the banking insurance system, so that up to $500,000. So if anything happens and you lose your money, they will refund your money back up to $500,000. And that's how most local banks, FDIC insured, always insures most local banks and some of these online banks for $500,000. So you want to make sure that whatever bank you choose, it has FDIC insured, and they will say that on their website, or if you go to a local bank, you see a plaque there that says FDIC insured, so you know your money is safe, because if anything happens, you are backed. You will receive up to $500,000 of your deposits back. Now, one of the strategies to also think through is, if you feel like you are going to be having more than $500 balances in your account, you can, depend on how much money you have as a small business, you can open different ones. Okay, of course, we are only focused on small businesses here. So if you're bigger than a small business, you're making tens of millions, you have a whole different set of things to look at. But for small business, you want to make sure that you have a FDIC insured bank, and you can have multiple bank accounts if you think you are going to have more than $500,000 of cash in one single account. And so looking at the cost of banking is really important, because your goal is to get the most out of your bank. And then the last thing you want to really look at when you in choosing a bank is, you want to look at proximity, how important that is. Where you bank has an effect. If you choose a bank that is not in your neighborhood, that may not help you, especially if you're a cash-based business. Okay, and I know this is very simple, common sense, but it's really important to know that proximity is key. I have seen issues where a person have a bank with a bank that is closer to their home rather to the business. But the challenge with that is, your money is moving from your business to the bank. So you want it to be closer to your business, so that you don't have to carry money in longer distance, because anything can happen. Having a proximity to your business is key, and it makes it easy to run in there during business hours and really have a conversation on your money. Like I said, this video is focused on banking. You want to really look at a bank that fits the nature of your business. That's the most important thing. And then when you do, remember, the requirement for your bank is very easy. You need the articles of organization and EIN. If you are running a very local business and there's not a lot of intricacies, you can have a assumed name through your county, and then you can even use the assumed name to get an EIN. But you don't need an EIN with an assumed name. You can use your social security number as your identification and still have a legitimate business running, depending on how small you are. So like I said, two different ones. You can have a standalone business that is a limited liability corporation, and have an EIN, that is an employer identification number specifically for that organization. And what that means is that you, and I'm not a legal person, but on the front, here's what that means. That means is that when you have a limited liability organization, your organization is independent of you, okay? And that is important. But if you are a simple sole proprietor, simple entrepreneur that you don't really want to go through all those legal structures, you can have an assumed name in your locality, and the social security number will become the identification number for your business. Okay, so that's really key, and that will allow you to qualify to open a business account. Okay, when you open a business account, there are things to consider to open a business account. You want a bank that fits the nature of your business. You want a bank that is well structured. You want a bank that is an SBA lender. SBA is a Small Business Administration. They have a lot of great loan systems for small businesses, and if your bank is an SBA lender, you are able to go through that bank to apply for those loans. Okay, you want a bank that has reasonable cost to banking. A lot of banks are really expensive. They cost you a month. They have monthly charges, and then their rates in everything is they don't give good rates, they don't give good interest rates on savings. So you want to look at all of those things too before you bank, and ask a lot of questions. You're a business, I'll ask a lot of questions before you engage any banking institution. And then it's great to have a good relationship with your bankers, and then so you look for a bank that has a connection to the community. Those are really good banks to work with. And then finally, you want a bank that is close to your business. Okay, so when you are able to kind of think about all of these things, there's tons of banks in the US. You can choose a bank and then work with them to really help structure your business. In our next video, we'll be covering a very important topic, that's credit, the role credit plays in getting a business loan, and why that is important. Thank you for joining us. My name is Kwame, and at Global Dime Consulting, this is how we give back. Yeah.